Aloha, this is Sky with FNN, Feminist News Network, the Feminist News that's right for you. Today, I would like to talk about something important. That is your right to vote. And what gets you to win for your right to vote? How do you win? When you vote, this is how you win. When you're running for office, pay attention to people like AOC, Alexandria Cortez. Because what did she do? Boots on the ground. What did Rashida Tlaib's win do? Boots on the ground. And now another win with boots on the ground. Andrew Gillum came up through working as a community organizer straight out of college with Florida, and became a commissioner at an early age, and with his 20 years of political experience, also being mayor of Tallahassee, has led him to what he is doing now. And what is he doing? Taking on the primary and beating out Gwen Graham. You know, there should never be a secession of political office. This is not the royal government. This is the government of the United States. And just because your daddy was Bob Graham don't mean Gwen Graham's going to come along and Hillary her way through this election. No, we are tired of that. We don't need that. So we're going for what we want. We're going for the win. Now let's take a look at Andrew Gillum's testimonial and his words of encouragement after his win, and then we'll talk from there.
Putting him on a path to become the state's first African-American governor if he wins in November. The 39-year-old mayor of Tallahassee was backed by Bernie Sanders and spent millions less than his better-funded opponents, including former Congresswoman Gwen Graham, the daughter of Bob Graham, the former governor and senator. Gillum was the only non-millionaire in the five-candidate race. On the campaign trail, Gillum called for Medicare for all, abolishing ICE, reforming the criminal justice system, repealing Florida's Stand Your Ground law, and increasing corporate taxes.
If he thinks that in today's day and age, Florida voters are going to respond to that level of derision and division, they're sick of it. What we're trying to offer in this race
was
is
that
a
racist or
where we want to go as a state.
Was that racist or a figment of speech?
Well, in the handbook of Donald Trump, they no longer do whistle calls. They're now using full bullhorns.
For more, we're joined by two guests who've worked with Andrew Gillum. In Miami, Florida, Philip Agnew is with us, co-director of Dream Defenders, a community-based movement organization. In 2013, Andrew Gillum was a city commissioner in Tallahassee when Agnew and the Dream Defenders led the takeover of the state capitol to protest the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the shooting death of unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin. Gillum supported their direct action. The next year, Gillum was elected mayor. Agnew and the Dream Defenders have also worked to support Andrew Gillum in Florida's governor's race. And in our New York studio, we're joined by Charlene Carruthers, National Director of the Black Youth Project 100. She worked with Andrew Gillum in a program that trains young people to run for office and teaches them how to run campaigns. Her new book is just out. It's titled Unapologetic, a Black, Queer, and Feminist Mandate for Radical Movements. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Philip Agnew in Florida, let's begin with you. First, your response to Ron DeSantis and what he said just hours after this upset victory in the Democratic primary where Andrew Gillum won. Talk about his words monkeying it up.
Well, down here in Florida, we call Ron DeSantis Ron Distraction, Ron Disaster. He's trying to take Florida back into a vision of the past. And so we don't spend time talking about him. What we're talking about are the issues that Andrew talked about, which is a new vision. We say down here that we're moving with 2020 vision. And so there's no need to look back. All we need to do is look forward. And on Tuesday, we saw that the majority of people in the state of Florida want to move forward. They want health care for all. They want an end to the private prison system. They want raises for all public school teachers. They want an elected official who isn't afraid to say climate change, let alone engage with climate change. And so we have an opportunity after 2 decades of Republican trifecta leadership in Tallahassee, in the governorship, in the House, and in the Senate, to actually shift our state and move it from being a political punchline to a model of what it looks like when the people have power. The climate in Florida is one of affirmation right now, that we've been knocking on doors for the last 6 years as Dream Defenders Action, and a constellation of organizations have been working for decades to ensure that on Tuesday, it takes 20 years to be an overnight story, but we're excited and we knew that this was going to happen. It wasn't stunning for us at all. Gillum's nomination and imminent candidacy and the right to vote for 1.4 million people in the state of Florida tells us that we have the opportunity in 2020 to change the state that went barely red for Donald Trump, that Rick Scott won by 60,000 votes 4 years ago. We have the opportunity to make a model here, and one, as the state goes, the country goes, and we have an opportunity with those 1.4 million people, with the election of Andrew Gillum as governor, to turn this state blue, and then to move a radical platform as we look to 2022 and 2024 and the next 20 years in the state. Who has stayed in the state, educated in public schools, went to college in Florida, and now has risen to being the first black nominee for governor in the history of Florida. And so this is a story of many years of hard work. This is not a overnight sensation. This is somebody who has put in the work, who has been there, and who has been a model for people for many, many years, and will continue to be one as governor.
Now,
well, during the campaign, Andrew Gillum said that the Stand Your Ground law has created a state of emergency in Florida and called on Governor Scott to issue an executive order suspending the law. Quote, if he won't, when I'm governor, I will, Gillum said.
The consequence of confusion over how Stand Your Ground is applied in this state can result in the loss of life of otherwise innocent people. It is, in fact, an emergency in the state of Florida. When parents have to be concerned about their children or themselves being gunned down, again, under the color of the law of Stand Your Ground.
So, Phil Agnew, can you respond to what Gillum said there and also give a sense of what the impact of Stand Your Ground has been across Florida?
Well, of course, we agree. I think if you look at the state of Florida, we have a number of states of emergency. In education, there's a state of emergency. Criminal justice. In the environment, there's a state of emergency. In healthcare, there's a state of emergency. And so Mayor Gillum has a lot of work to do on day one when he enters the office. Stand Your Ground specifically is a part of a bevy of laws put forward by Marion Hammer and the racist NRA in the state of Florida. And so what we've seen is laws that are germinated and built in Florida are then exported around the country. And so for a law like Stand Your Ground to be stricken down in Florida, that bodes well for many other states that are fighting similar copycat laws that were started in Florida. And the impact has been heavy.
And what I remember most about Andrew at that time and years after that, be it at the Capitol during the occupation by Power U and the Dream Defenders, was his accessibility. His willingness to listen, his spirit that was open and welcoming to young people. I remember his sister, Monique Gillum, who's also a sorority sister of mine. She's a powerhouse behind that campaign, too. And so I am excited about the fact that the campaign and the organizations, including Dream Defenders Action, including Florida Immigrant Coalition, Collective PAC, Color Change PAC, who were on the ground and decided to invest in the voters and the people that other candidates and parties have thrown away. And when you bet on our people, it's not risky. It's not a gamble. It's actually a sure bet, right? And we saw well over, a 500,000 voter increase from 2014 in the primary election. That's huge to see. And that doesn't happen because people just felt like getting up to vote one day. It happens because they had a platform to believe in. They had a candidate running on a platform to believe in, and they showed up because they had organizations who valued their opinions and valued the issues enough that impact their lives to fight for it.
Did you hear that? Was he not talking truth? This 39-year-old wonder house has came along, and if they don't corrupt him like they did Obama to switch him and to forgetting about the people, he's going to end up taking care of a lot of things. And I do not think he's the Obama type. I think he's better than that. Yeah, I said it. Because what does he stand for? Medicaid for all, abolishing ICE, taking care of the prison industrial system, getting rid of stand your ground laws that are just crippling black communities and brown communities in Florida. This man stands for something. This man stands for correcting that prison system, that payday loan Debbie Wasserman Schultz ingested system. Just what Florida needs. 1.4 million people ready to go blue. And he's hitting the ground running, knocking on doors, using no corporate money. The only non-millionaire in the race. Why? Because he stands by the people, because he's for the people. Standing with them says a lot. And being able to knock on the ground, knock on your door, ask you, what do you want to vote for? That's what's needed in Florida. Is a man like Andrew Gillum. Now, you think because you're in another state you cannot help his race? Ha! A little phone banking goes a long way. And you can always sign up and do your part to help this progressive make it. So I'm going to put links down and let you know. If you want to do anything more, contact me at FeministNewsN@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out and like my Facebook page, Feminist News Network, and the Feminist News Network YouTube channel, so you can catch those exclusive videos. And remember, Lava Crisis, September the 7th. For subscribers only, catch it and see what the mainstream media are copying. Because after this show, now they all of a sudden want to get personal and talk to the people that are going through it. FNN talked to them and got the real scoops. Dig it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Peace.